I have no time to waste on you pests! You picked the wrong day to mess with
me! Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Transformer Rollout Commander of the Stars. This is a test shot or a sample shot that was sent out from Show Z. So thank you to Show Z. I'll have a link down below where you can get yours. This is the Cybertron era Optimus Prime, and it really does blow away what Hasbro did back in the day, and it is really a solid figure coming from Transformer Rollout. Now I did take a look at their Jazz. The 01 is a Jazz that they made, which I was not too interested in because I had other options of Jazz that I didn't really need another Jazz. But this guy here is completely different. He is a Cybertron Optimus Prime. We're going to take a look at him. I'm going to show you the good and the bad, the pluses and the minuses coming up. Alright, so here is the packaging, and it's kind of interesting looking. You get to see the actual product on the front. It says Commander of Stars, and another angle of him. And then from the back, now I do like this because you can see all the various things that you can probably do with this guy. So you can see standard alt mode, then a plain alt mode, and then this is kind of like an attack piece. And then we have him fully armored up. So they say there's 5 different modes. Pretty cool, pretty interesting. Alright, so here he is in his alt mode. It looks pretty good. He comes with a few things, which is real quick. Of course, you get instructions on how to do all this fun stuff, and then you get a card with it, which is cool and very consistent. And you also get this magnetic key here, which is fun. It's going to do some stuff. We'll come back to that here in just a bit. But looking at the alt mode itself, it does look a lot like I remember a Cybertron version of Optimus Prime in the alt mode to look. And so with that, let's look at the front here. So overall, not a whole lot of paint. Like where it's red, it's not painted all so much. Really, I don't think hardly any of that red is painted, but there's a lot of other little accents here and there that are painted, and so that does look pretty cool. And there's really no chrome coming through in the alt mode, but the chrome comes through in the bot mode. So there are some aspects of the bot mode that have some chrome in it, and this kind of just stays in place right there. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Pretty much, it's big, it's hefty. One thing I was surprised when I picked it up for the first time was just how much weight and heft this thing has. So let's take a look at what features it may have. It has quite a few. Now, first of all, this does roll very well, actually. And I kind of like that. I like that it gets the job done with the rolling. You can articulate these pieces here. So these cannons, these guns, all that kind of stuff. You can articulate them. You can open this up. And then you can also do something else really cool with this key. And let's ratchet it up, but not off the screen. Ratchet it up a bit. So here's the key, and yes, it does have an Autobot symbol on it, which is probably why it comes in like a solid baggie. So for whatever reason, the solid baggie hides that Autobot symbol. But if you touch this to this, it starts lighting up, which is really cool. Now mine's not super bright. I don't have the correct batteries, so I'm probably not supplying enough juice to it to light up as bright as it probably could. But that is a cool look to it. You can then tap it again, and the magnet kind of triggers the switch to make it do the next series of blinking. And I got to get it in there just right somehow to tap it just right. There it goes. And then it slows the blinking down a little bit more. And then it makes it solid. And then it turns it off. So that's pretty cool function. It does it on the other side too, but I don't have the right batteries, so for whatever reason, I just can't get the juice to flow. I can't get it to work because I don't have the right batteries. Maybe that's what's wrong with this one, but let's show you how this works. You can pull this out, and you have the 2 batteries in here. Now, mine are, as you can see, mine are not the right ones. They're too small. It takes like a CR-0927. I think that's an AG6. I'm not 100% sure on the AG aspect of things. And I've been falling down on my battery game for these things lately. But anyway, it's a really cool feature. This, I just can't get it to work. I got a battery, the same one I have in there, which I don't know exactly what it was I put in there. And they're old, so there's not much juice left in those. All right, so the next thing that you can do with these You can get this into like a flying truck mode. So you fold this out, and then you fold this around, and then you fold this back around. This comes up, and this folds over. I get that all just right. And then you can articulate this up a bit and do the same thing on the other side. And you gotta kind of get them into this flying truck mode if that's something that you want to do. Flying truck mode. These can articulate back and forth. You can open this up and you can, get the blinking going and all that. So that's kind of a cool feature. It's kind of interesting. It takes up a lot of real estate because this is a pretty big figure. And so with that, if that's something you want to do, that's one of the modes. All right, for our size comparison, I want to compare him to the Magic Square. Now, it's a different shape of the cab, so it's like wider or deeper, but shorter. So this one's a little bit taller, but not quite as deep. So that kind of shows. So, of course, they're going for completely different looks and aesthetics and all that kind of stuff, but that's how they look in comparison. So really, I don't have much else to compare it to that would make sense. I do have a toy version of Thomas, so a lot of people know how big Thomas is, and that's how big this guy is. So Thomas is pretty big. It's a train. There he is. So I guess the next mode we would get to is taking this stuff here off to get into an alternate sort of battle mode. So lift this up a bit and you can take it out. We need to take these leg pieces off, which just clip on the top, and then all that can come off. All right, so with this whole back piece off, the best I can gather to get this into the artillery mode, there's a couple things you want to do. Let's go ahead and lift these up. Then we're going to spread this piece here out. And here's one thing that I'm noticing, that in the alt mode, you want more of a cleaner side, even though there's screws in it, a cleaner side. But it seems like you need to untab these legs and swap them over so that you can get this. Maybe I got that wrong. Maybe I had it wrong in the alt mode. I don't know. But then you can plug this in and you can have a cleaner. And it does that. Or, no, you can just flip them upside down, I guess. But I think that's how it's supposed to look for this artillery mode, kind of mode here. And then it can articulate on the ankles, which is cool. Using articulation for different modes and stuff like that. And then I feel like I'm reaching way across here to get to anything because it's kind of big. But then you can get these down and they articulate. So some stuff that you can do. We'll look at this again when we get him transformed in his bot mode. I'd imagine this is something that you'd use when he's in his bot mode and he can have something to do with this trailer. Well, until you put it on his back. Transforming this guy is fairly straightforward, so it's pretty interesting. So you want to split this tab over here and you want to fold the foot around, which is interesting because it will fold around to make a bigger foot in the super mode. But right now we're just making it adjust and become part of the back of his leg there. So it just looks like you got a big giant gap in the back of his leg until we get into the super mode here in just a bit. Fold that toe around. And this is die cast. This is die cast. You're starting to feel some die cast. You're starting to feel the heft of this figure, which is really kind of cool. And then getting into this part here, we're going to fold that around and front piece done here. So you can open this up and then kind of push that up. We'll get to the matrix here. Well, I guess we can do that right now. So here's the matrix, which is kind of cool. And let's see here. Mine tabs in relatively well. Now this probably is supposed to light up, but my batteries don't work. So I'll link what I think the proper batteries are for this thing down below if you want to get them off of Amazon or something. But that is the matrix and it looks pretty good. And lighting up, that will be awesome because it's supposed to light up and all that kind of stuff. But that is the chamber. Put it right back in there. Pretty nice. Fold it up here with this nice little notch there. Then we're going to fold these pieces around to make the chest. And then there's that. And then we fold this up here so it coming along. Okay, you can pull back on this on both sides for it to come out. It doesn't just fold right around, pull out on this, which makes a lot of sense. Then this comes down here and then fold it around. Then we get the hands out with a strange little hand fold, which is different. So some different stuff that's pretty cool. And then the shoulder kind of rests on however you feel it should rest, and then you can push this back in. I'm going to leave it out for now, and then same thing over on this side, and then fold this open, and then get the hand out and adjust the shoulder piece however you want it. Then we have to get the head out like so, and you have head option whichever you want. I think in this mode you want face like that, and then just kind of straighten them up a bit, make them look good. And yeah, we'll come back and have a look at this guy. Alright, so here he is in his standard mode. He's not in his beefed up mode, so he does look pretty cool. So I think that this is a nice looking mode for this. And I don't have the original one to compare to anymore. I did, but traded off to a buddy of mine that really wanted it. And I think this looks way better than the vintage toy, which is of course what you do with Masterpiece, right? You're making it look better than the original toy that you had back in the day. Now looking at his face, that looks pretty good. It looks pretty decent. Decent looking face for him. I do like the face mask better though, so we'll be seeing that when we go into the super mode or whatever you want to call that. And then he does have some paint on there, some paint accents right here, and got some more paint right in here, all the way down. And then we've got chrome on the joints, which is interesting. And then we've got chrome down here. Or either it's vac metallized or it's super shiny painted. It looks good. Some of it looks a little bit darker than other places. Here he is from the back, and he looks really clean and neat, and a relatively simple transformation. So it's really a pretty simple transformation. I do think that yes, it says that you're supposed to push these shoulders in, and I think it does look better, and it kind of fills the contour properly. So I think that is probably the best way to display it. And depending on how you want your shoulders, you can have them however you want. So that's pretty cool. I do like the transparent pieces right here. Transparent. And it's a mixture of all kinds of materials, which makes it look very interesting. So let's look at the articulation real quick. For articulation, the head, it can go way up, and then ears left and right. It's pretty tight, actually. Pretty good. Looks that down a little bit. Shoulder out to, goes all the way out to a 90, and then you can do a 360. And then you got double jointed right here. Is it double jointed? It looks double jointed. It is really tight. Yep, double jointed on the elbows so you can get past the 90. And then the hands are individually articulated. Fingers, I think 2 points, and my fingers fell off. So mine, I was told I have some issues with mine. And so I think the fingers are part of it. And so with that, that does suck. It's not going to be like this on a full retail release. This was just a test shot they sent me and said, hey, it's got problems. So that's one of my problems. He can do a pretty cool mode, I guess, with that. And then getting down here to the waist. Waist piece, side to side. Not really a big ab crunch, but a bit of an ab crunch. And then this hip flap here, you can go all the way to the forward to about there, back to about here, back to about there. And then you have thigh swivel, which is a really tight ratchet, but it's going to hold its pose, that's for sure. And then double jointed knee, really solid materials right there. And then down to the toe articulation right here, and can go up and down, all that kind of stuff. So pretty cool stuff. Looks pretty good. Here he is with his base, and this is the armored up back piece mode. So we're going to see this again, but this is kind of him running around with his base. Now you can do something with this here, and this just is the same piece. It just plugs in or unplugs from this, and it's pretty simple, and it gets the job done, and that's the thing you could do. All right, to get them into a super mode, we have to do a few things here. We're going to fold this out. Let's get it on camera here. Flip it around, and then flip it around like so. And then it should tab in, and then this goes down. I guess I just did all that in one. Let's adjust the camera so the second one looks a little bit better on camera. We're going to flip this out and then fold it around like so. And then this tabs in like so. So that's the first thing that you do with this guy. Then we're going to take this and we're going to get the legs off of this. We're going to kind of get this thing ready to go for his armored up mode. And then we're going to bring him in here with his legs. So this piece here is going to go to the outside. So let's get that set up on each one of these to the outside. And we're going to plug it in on here. And real simple stuff. Just plugs in. And I'm going to give him a lot of stability and ability to do some other stuff. And that's kind of cool. And then we're going to grab this thing back here. And we're going to turn it into the big winged creature. Beast, backpack, whatever. Goes like that. And so here we go. Open these, and that's going to go on him. And then now, depending on how you want to set this up, we're going to leave these this way, and we're going to put this on his back. So this is really kind of crazy. It does sort of plug into his back and into the front at the same exact time. And I mean, it's good for stability and all that, but we're going to plug these two tabs into these slot sections here. And then we're going to bring them around, and we're going to plug these pieces here into the front, which is kind of cool. And it looks good. And then same thing on the other side. So it's a kind of a crazy design, but it works. It's a little bit of a hassle to get it to work right, but it does work once you get it all in there. And then we open his head up and we flip this around to get his face, get his ears, and we have him more or less in his destroyer mode. You can actually fold this up and use a handle on it and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't really need a handle because it will hold, but let me mess with it and see how good I can make it look. Right, so here he's in a super mode, and I think he looks really good. So with that, that is a nice looking mode that he has right there, and I think that's pretty much everything you're going to be doing with this guy. Well, aside from giving it some lighting support, and that's cool too. So really magnificent look to this guy, and with the die cast, and feels like premium materials are using, and ratchets and joints and all that kind of stuff. And he's got decent articulation. Some areas, you know, double jointed elbows and knees and all that kind of stuff. And really feels very solid. You pick him up, put him down, all that great stuff. Nice looking figure overall. If you like the Cybertron era, let's go ahead and see what this guy looks like in comparison to a few other figures. Here's next to Optimus Prime, and this is the Magic Square version. That looks pretty good. Here is, so right next to it. So Magic Optimus Prime's like, this one's like $130. This is $144. I feel like value-wise, you get much more weight. It's much, much bigger than what you're getting with, but I think they're both a great value. I'm saying not Magic Square's a great value, but this thing at $144 and how much you get with it versus kind of what you get with the other ones. And this one here, I think was about $130 himself. This is the Star Toys. So you look how much bigger it is, and that's a huge, huge bot, especially in this mode right here. And this is Takara's Magnus. I'm having kind of trouble there with the wings colliding with his shoulder pieces, but that's how that looks. They're almost about the same size. So big dude, but not as bulky. He's a lot thinner, but yeah, looks pretty cool. Different eras of Transformers. So this is my look at the Transform and Rollout TR-02 Commander of the Stars, and I think it's really cool that they are going into a different direction with the Transformers that we haven't seen yet. And I don't know if another company's made one of these or not, but this is a pretty solid offering that they're making, and he looks pretty good. Very solid ratchets. He is big, massive for $144. I just think that you do kind of get value for your money. And that's one thing that they did. They would value for the money with their Jazz, and so value for the money with this. And I would have liked a little bit more paint. There's a lot of bare plastic on it. But when you're making this big a figure for this price point, I do understand that. I would have liked a little more chrome in the alt mode showing through. But again, still trying to hit the price point. But they're putting the emphasis on the bot mode, which that's me. I'm going to keep stuff like this in a bot mode anyway. So let me know what you think about this. Are you in on Cybertron figures? Should more companies make more Cybertron figures? I'm going to have a link down below where you can get this from Show Z. Thanks to Show Z for sending this out. Take a look at it. Like and subscribe. Tadir Hanger out.
Hotshot, do you have any idea what you've done here? What your actions might mean to the rest of our mission?
Optimus.
That wasn't your decision to make, Red Alert. I counted on you.
I know.
All right, Red Alert. Why don't you tell us what's really been going on around here?
Yeah, you guys must have done something worthwhile.
I have to bend the rules of Speed Planet for now. I'll meet with Override myself. She's got to see reason.
Whatever, dirtball. Optimus? Little problem here. I can't seem to get out of second gear.
We've got to get you up to speed.